What are they? Icosahedron! Oh my god! Run!
Well, here we are once again discussing Star Trek Lower Decks Season 5, the third episode, otherwise entitled The Best Exotic Nanite Hotel. Now, there will be spoilers ahead, so be warned. Otherwise, let's all board the Cosmic Duchess. It looks like we now have another entry into the super mega ultra bestest vacation destination in the entire Trek universe. A moon-sized cosmic cruise ship. And I just felt a great disturbance in the tube. As if millions of channels suddenly posted a "That's no moon" clip and were suddenly silenced. Anywho, could this be the resort mentioned in the Tawny Newsom's proposed TrekCom? Probably not. I think that was actually purported to be a resort planet, but never say never. Again. We have a couple of stories this week, the main plot being stopping a nanite infestation on the Fantastic Voyage, and a Boimler ransom
I'm Gilbert Manhandle, literary dilettante with a gambling addiction.
Manhandle side quest, which honestly felt almost like it took that A spot in and of itself. Speaking of Boimler, we are getting quite the ongoing subplot of his facial hair this season. I'm very curious to see just how far they're going to take this. Will he gain a full beard, or will it turn out to be wispy and patchy? Will we then discover that Altboim was wearing a fake beard the whole time? Who's to say? You decide. Epic rap... Sorry. While we're already talking about the bruh quest, I really did enjoy the continued acknowledgement of the Enterprise era stuff. Not only do we get a plot relevant to Nobulan in this story, but we also get a collection of Cardassians who simply cannot abide Boimler's disgusting oral ingestion. And here we are without a chainsaw. Along similar lines, but this time going over to DS9, we finally get to see some Galamites, or at least I think it's the first time we've ever actually seen them. F in the chat for Captain Baudet. I have to say it was definitely nice to see them, but they don't look at all the way that I had pictured them in my head. Still, it is always good to put a face to the name, even when you can see through said face. Most of the zany and goofy elements were contained to this plotline. The whole point was to go track down a rogue admiral who had grown quite weary of the Starfleet establishment, and at the end he gave a speech very reminiscent to the one Locarno gave at the end of last season, ordering his equals to sacrifice their lives to defend him. This, however, was played much more tongue-in-cheek in a more "I just don't want to work no more" kind of story, with no real menace or anything like that, and it was also a great way to give Boimler his farcical misunderstanding for the episode. Which now begs the question, is this going to be the real character arc stuff for our former lower deckers this season? Having to come to terms and deal with the fact that they actually are, in fact, good enough, and that they're being chosen for their skills and abilities, and not just as part of a wacky scheme? Now, if you too want to be part of a group chosen for their skill and ability, then why not join the channel like these fine folks?
At the top of that huge, dangerous mountain.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
And now, on to the Glumpus plot. Aside from trying to save everyone from the nanites, this was definitely a story about Mariner and Jennifer's relationship, and just how they were kind of both the worst. While I'm not always a fan of relationship drama, one thing that Lower Decks tends to do, which works for me on a much higher level than when Discovery tried similar things, is the way they integrate it into the action. Instead of taking a break from the disaster of the moment to go walk into a conference room and discuss all of the feelings, they engage in the mission while working everything through. Now, this may not be safe or logical or even something that would happen if they had actually had more than 22 minutes to tell the episode, but to me, this is something that actually helps with a coherent feeling of everything while still keeping everything on pace and right to the point. And overall, it was just great to see a bit of closure to the Jennifer character. She never really hit the mainstay status that I thought was being built up with her earlier on, but it's still great to see her before the end of the series to kind of round things off, and to have her transfer to another ship just leaves the possibilities open. Now, the nanite cluster, or Glumpus as they know it, was kind of interesting in that it changed and evolved over the course of the episode, always upping the ante and allowing the story to just kind of build to a crescendo. Mariner and Jennifer were definitely the focus here, but T'Lyn was also instrumental in stopping the threat. Rutherford also helped quite a bit, and Tendi, who just returned from her long Orion mission, was also there. This leads me to wonder a little bit more something I mentioned in my earlier videos, if Tendi was always meant to return to the Cerritos this soon, or if they had originally planned to keep her off the ship for maybe 6-8 episodes even before her return, but once they learned that it was the final season, they wanted to keep all of the friends together as much as possible, so they had to return in episode 2. If that's the case, it might explain why she was underutilized, but she was very heavily featured in the last 2 episodes, so it may just be a case of them letting the other characters shine. I just would have welcomed a little bit more than the throwaway comment of, "Oh wow, I just got back anyway." It also appears that I was quite incorrect in my assumption that the geometric shape we saw in the trailer was going to be either A, the creepy Matter conversion thingy that the Kelvins used from TOS, or B, our characters being trapped in some sort of cosmic game of D&D having to avoid the D20 that was being rolled on them. But nope, it turned out to just be the nanites taking on the form of a lovely old icosahedron. And then towards the end of the episode, it all starts coming together. And by it, I definitely mean all realities are merging and we are but want for death. Seriously though, they do discover that an itsy-bitsy teeny-weeny microscopic ship Endeavor is trapped in the nanite goo and was actually the one responsible for controlling it in an effort to create some sort of dimensional gate back to their home reality.
Wait, is that an Intrepid class?
They're hailing us!
Oh, Starfleet, thank God.
I'm a simple man.
Well, Mama told me.
No, copyright. But I was really amused by this being an Intrepid-class ship and the joke about...
We've been through a month of hell!
A month?
Classic, in my opinion. Having a ship come from an alternate reality where everything is on a nanoscale compared to ours is intriguing, and it actually harkens back to 2 episodes of DS9. The most obvious parallel coming from one little ship, where an anomaly used completely sound and logical science to shrink the space in between atoms of a runabout and their crew, making it super tiny and basically a Christmas tree ornament. The second episode is the one entitled Playing God from Season 2, where the crew discovers a tiny proto-universe next to the station because, okay, and they have to deal with letting it exist or stamping it out. They find some life signs in there and all of that good stuff. Well, it's probably unlikely. What if it turns out that the Endeavor is actually from this universe? So just like last season, the subplot of strange things happening are now starting to slowly bleed into our actual plots. What's causing the rifts and what does that mean for our crew? How many unique and interesting alternate universes will we end up seeing? Leave all your thoughts down below, and while there, like, share, subscribe, join, and do all those YouTube things. But until next time...
Sorry, brah, but the vacation's over.
And I still have my hands! Both of them!